There are two big reasons I like working with Rico, and they're pretty core to business. One is competency.
What I like most about working with Rico is that he is a very fun, loving, and energetic person.
Rico focuses on things that he knows a lot about, and then it's just his character. I mean, you can't do good business with anyone who doesn't have character, and Rico has the highest level of character.
His best attribute is his ability to ascertain and understand his clients' needs. He can find the root cause of what is keeping companies from being their most productive selves.
Probably his best attribute is his consistency. He's your Super Bowl quarterback. He shows up every time he needs to do something for you. He's consistent. He brings his high level of competency and his high level of character with him. I would say that's his best attribute.
Please welcome to the stage the founder of the Pena Global Consulting Group, Rico Pena.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things.
There's an old saying that says, I wish I knew then what I know now. Everyone's gone through that at some point in time, right? That's true in life as it is in business, especially when you think you got it all figured out. You don't really see the lessons until they're, too painful to ignore. So I was reminded as I was putting together this presentation and going through my really long laundry list of mistakes that I've made in the 20 plus years I've been in business. The hardest part of this whole thing was just only picking 3. So the 3 that I picked, I did so because I think it had the greatest impact in our business. And those 3 are reputation, focus, and price. And my hope today is that by sharing those 3 mistakes and the unique situations in which I found myself using them or seeing them or experiencing them, that I can hope and spare you from one day having to say, I wish I knew then. My entry into this industry was a unique one. It started with a very simple assessment that helped me overcome 14 years of war with my daughter in 48 hours. For the first time, I got to see myself through my daughter's eyes. I understood how she perceived me, but more importantly, the things I was doing to irritate the crap out of her. But the thing that I saw the most from that assessment was that I got to know how to relate, appreciate, and celebrate our differences. In other words, it helped me become a better father. So you can imagine this had a transformational impact in my life. So much so that I sold all my other businesses and dedicated myself to understanding behavior and how to communicate with each other. Coming from the business world, I saw a lot of opportunity in the business marketplace. So I became an advocate of assessments in the business world. And as I was thinking about how I used to sell these assessments, going to every business store and talking to every business owner who would give me a time of day, I realized I sound like an 80s infomercial. You know, the one that comes out at 3 o'clock in the morning? Are you having turnover issues? You need an assessment. Is your manager running your employees from your business? An assessment will fix that. Are you losing your clients to the marketplace? I have an assessment for that. Have you forgotten your wife's anniversary for 5 years in a row and she's threatening to kick you to the curb? I can fix that. Because assessments fix all people problems, right? Well, I was so enthusiastic, I went to all these networking events and chambers. And it's at one of these events that my very first mistake came to. That of reputation. You see, what I didn't know then that I know now is that reputation determines the level of expertise, of value your customers have of you, but also the access they give to you. The better your reputation, the better these are. The lower they are, you won't get any of these. And I was about to feel the sting of that particular mistake. I was at an event, and as you know, I'm looking around for all these businesses, who else I can talk to about assessments. Because, hey, they fix old people problems, right? And behind me, there were 2 gentlemen speaking, and I could hear what they were saying, but I really wasn't paying attention to what they were talking about. That is until I heard my name. And this is how the conversation went. One gentleman asked the other, is there anyone here I should avoid? The other gentleman replied, yes. You see the guy in the blue suit? His name is Rico Pena. Great guy, but whatever you do, do not ask him about his business. He will inundate you with all this assessment disc mumbo jumbo. He'll never ask you about your business or even tell you about how these assessments help your business. If you ask anyone else here, they avoid him like the plague. So proceed with caution. Now, have you ever been hit so hard that you lose all the oxygen out of your lungs and you feel like you're about to pass out? That's about how I felt. Because all I wanted to do is for other people to take the assessment and experience what I experienced. But see, I made a mistake. I didn't understand that it's one thing to talk to someone about your daughter, it's another to talk about assessments in business. Because what is business owners looking for? Results for a problem, not another tool for them to figure it out. So when I finally picked myself off the floor and the room stopped spinning, I had to look in the mirror and realize, you know what, he's right. But what really hit me the hard was the reason my business wasn't growing was because of my reputation. The reputation of all talk and no walk. And to really be honest, I didn't even know how to facilitate or debrief a DISC assessment, never mind train a business on how to use it to build their business. I just wanted people to feel good. So I stopped everything, closed everything down, and decided I had to improve my skill set. This was too important to just leave like this. So I got a job at an assessment and training company as a marketing director, and for 2 years, I honed my skills. And within those 2 years, I found my niche, understanding the client's perception in the sales cycle. I took a deep dive into that particular subject, eventually writing a book on it. That's when I knew it was time for me to go back into the marketplace and reintroduce this new niche, hopefully repair my reputation. I'll never forget my first training after that one day. So I want you to imagine 16 strangers in a basement, wondering what the heck this thing is and who I was. A friend of mine put all those 16 people there. I had nothing to do with it. So for those of you who may know this, my first opening was the numbers page. What the intent of it is you have people circle different numbers and understand if you know the process, you get more numbers, hence the DISC. So as I am introducing this, I'm telling you, find 1, find 2, 3. How many of you had this number? Now let me show you the process. You do it in 4s and then show them the process. So I said, okay, now do it in 4s. Now let me show you the process. 1, 2, and as I get to 2, out of the corner of my eye, I see my wife. And I hear this loud whisper, "You're screwing up." So I ignore her because I think I know what the heck I'm doing. Matter of fact, it should have been 4 business mistakes, 4th being not listening to my wife. So I continue. And the thing is that if they do it right, you ask them, how many of you got more numbers the second time than the first? Everyone should raise their hand. So I continue. And again, I hear, "You're really screwing up." But I keep going. So after I said, okay, you have a minute, go. And so I turn to my wife very fresh. She goes, "What's the problem?" She goes, "It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm like, oh, crap. Now what do I do? So I asked the question, how many of you had more numbers the second time than the first? No hands go up. So I had to do a little tap dance. I said, well, you know how sometimes you think you know a person and you're in conversation and the reaction you get back is not what you're expected? Well, that's because you assumed you knew the process. Well, now let me show you what the process really is. You got to think on your feet up here, I'm telling you. But the thing was, in the middle of the room, there was this really elegant lady. She was a real estate agent. And after that happened, she was boring through my head like Terminator with lasers. She's that person that you know that after this end of this event, she's got some things to tell you about wasting her time. And sure enough, by the end of the event, she's barreling up to me. So I'm preparing for the abuse that I'm about to get. She reached down and grabs my hand, puts her other hand over it, and she says, "Thank you." Obviously not what I was expecting. So the only thing I could muster was say, "You're welcome." And as she's shaking my hand, I see a tear come down her right cheek. She said, "You just saved my marriage. I've been separated from my husband for 6 months, and now I understand what I was doing to push him away. I am on my way to him right now to save my marriage." She turned and she walked away. I got a big smile on my face. because I knew we were going to be okay at that point. Now, the second mistake I had was focus. Focus on the industry, you lose. Focus on the individual, and you'll win every time. Now, focus is a very finicky skill. If you match it with discipline, there's nothing you can't do. You match it with ego, it's like giving a 16-year-old a really expensive sports car. Looks great, runs fast, but inevitably something bad's about to happen. At this point in time, we were doing pretty good, but I wanted to go to the corporate marketplace. I knew that's where the money was. So what did I figure? I said, well, if you want corporations, you got to look like a corporation, market like a corporation, go where the market corporations are at, right? Well, I didn't know that then. I know that now. I see a lot of heads going. So what did I do? I started spending money on brand development and logos and assessments and webinars and everything and anything. We even joined this high-end business club because that's where all the decision makers were. But after 9 months, when there's a lot more money going out than there is coming in, I'm really close to hitting the panic button. And all I am focusing on is survival. So you can understand that I wasn't really in the frame of mind when this golden opportunity hits me in the lap. At one of my presentations, a gentleman walks up to me and says, you know, one of my clients is the SunTrust audit team, and they're going through a lot of turnover, and your presentation on reducing turnovers by understanding behaviors would be perfect for them. You should give them a call. Yeah, I wrote it down and move on. And I'm driving, and I'm thinking, how do I get myself out of this mess? You know, we're in debt, everything else. And I happened to glance down to look at the piece of paper I had written. And at that moment, I remember what a mentor once told me. What you focus on becomes your reality. So I drove home, got a dry erase board, and I started to plot everything that I was doing and try to figure out what was I doing wrong. Why could I not break into the corporate marketplace? And after about 5 hours, and this is in your handouts, I came up with the industry to individual model. And I want to walk you through what that is, because this is what transformed our business. Hello? Okay. So first I had to determine what are the industry segments that I can play in. I already knew that I wanted to go into the corporate marketplace. So I chose corporate. That's still too big. There's so many options there. Then I narrowed it down to, I wanted to do Fortune 500. I'm from Atlanta. There's a lot of Fortune 500 companies in Atlanta, as well as they have training budgets, they have people issues. I can fix that, right? Remember my infomercial? But you see, I had to narrow it down even further. So I used the lead I was given, SunTrust. That's still a big company. But I had something extra this time around, the audit team. Now I have a department I can go after. But I had no clue of what the audit team was. Now, these last two steps are exactly what catapulted our business forward. I had to decide, well, who's the end user? Who inevitably is going to experience my product or service? Well, after doing a little bit of research, I found out that the C-suite's decisions is what were causing the turnover. Now I have someone to go after. Typically, I would go stop right here. I have a target audience, they have a pain, I have a solution. But something continued to nag at me. And I said, wait a minute. Who is going to be the person who decides I can get in front of that gatekeeper? Well, after a little bit more research, was the HR director. She was tasked with finding a solution to the turnover problems. I had an individual. That was easy. I can turn all my marketing and everything into getting to that one person. That made life so much easier. It made my marketing more effective. I could become more of an expert because I only had to learn about is one person. So I did my research. Why do you want to do research? Because you need a clicker that works so the things come up. You gain knowledge on your focus individual so you can leverage your expertise more effectively. So what I ended up doing is I went to every social media site to try to find everything and everything about her. Now I know what some of you may be saying. That sounds like cyber stalking. Perhaps. I called it focused research. And when I used that focused research, I found on her company Facebook page, excited to attend the ISACA 2-week convention. Now I knew where she was going to be and when she was going to be there. So I went back to all my focused research and customized a presentation just for her around turnover. And we presented it. Here's the wow factor. As soon as I was done, who comes walking towards me? The SunTrust HR director. Thought my presentation was great, hands me her business card and said, would you be interested in talking with me and my team about solving our turnover problems? I said, absolutely. Meet with her team. They liked the proposal. We trained first 200 of their employees, did all the assessments, and after that training, they were impressed and said, we want you to train our C-suite. That's them doing a communication exercise. The system worked. Now, incidentally, during this training, it was our first month as TTI VAAs. The model worked so well throughout that year we were honored with the Rookie of the Year award. The system worked. Now, my last and most painful, expensive mistake came at price. The thing about corporations is price will make you look like a professional or a rookie. We've been doing great with Fortune 500s, but you see, my game changer was Delta. In Atlanta, that's big. If I could get Delta, doors would open. But if I didn't have long-term agreements with other companies, they wouldn't even look at me. So that's what we were working towards. So as an opportunity, a major corporation asked me to do a proposal, I needed help to make sure I was doing it right. So I found a friend of mine who understood the industry and understood this company to review my proposal. The first thing she went to was the back page, the fee sheet. And she said, well, here's one of your biggest problems already. What's that? You're not charging enough for them to take you seriously. Excuse me? What do you mean? Yes, we would like to give you this proposal. However, you're going to have to charge us more for us to give it to you. That seemed backwards to me. She goes, let me explain. Corporations have training budgets. HR and training directors use your fee sheet to determine whether you are a professional or a rookie. A professional understands the marketplace, understands the culture, understands what companies do, and more importantly, understand how to charge because they know and have a track record. A rookie, on the other hand, is stumbling around blindly trying to figure it out. They don't realize that that's a red flag because they either charge too little or too much. And HR and training directors know if I hire you, I'm going to end up fixing my bigger problems down the road. So price is key. Understanding your research and marketplace is key. So I said, okay, on one of the line items, I was charging $3,500 for a particular service. And I asked her, well, how much should I be charging right here? She said, $8,000. That's the middle range for them. Now, can you imagine leaving $4,500 on the table? That shocked me. So we went through all the line items, and we made the adjustments, and we submitted the proposal, and we got the contract. That was the missing key. And as they say after that, the rest is history. Now, I mentioned that our game changer, if you will, was Delta. Last year, we got bottle caps for Delta. Last year, we got a contract with Delta. That's the picture that should be coming up. And in December, they renewed. Now, I'm not saying that to be boastful, to pump my ego. I say that to tell you this. Regardless of what you are attempting to accomplish, no matter how many mistakes, how many times you fall down, how many times you screw up, just never give up. So my challenge to all the VAs here is this. Name your game changer. That one company, that one contract that would fundamentally transform your business, transform you, and more importantly, your bank account. And our challenge for you is this. Every day, just take one step towards it. Whether it's improving your skills, whether it's doing your research, whether it's hiring a mentor, whatever it is, unapologetically, boldly, and resiliently take the next step. Because if you take every step, every day, momentum overcomes fear. And one day when you finally get that game changer and you get that first check with more serious than you thought or expected, bring your hands up and do your happy dance. But do me a favor. As soon as you're done dancing, take one hand and reach back and help somebody else to have that game changer experience. Because if you can do that, if we all do just one that together, we can then reimagine everything that we want to do. Thank you.